Hello everyone and welcome to Rhinofeed. Today I'm going to review the Razer Naga 2014. As you can see here, I have it on my Corsair MM200, which is a extremely large extended mouse mat that basically fits on the very top of my desk, the entire length almost. And I tracks really well on it, as it should. It is designed for it. But anyway, as you can see, the main focus on this mouse is the clicky switches here on the left. You have 12 mechanical buttons. Very, very clicky. I do like using them a lot. Although for my purposes, I don't use the full 12 and I really only need 6. So I wish they designed a version of this mouse with just 6 or even just maybe 4 at the top here so I would have a spot to rest my thumb, as it is a little disconcerting. When I'm used to fingertip grip, I would hold the mouse right here and put my thumb right where the buttons lie, which would make total sense as that's how they designed the mouse to be, so it's convenient to press all the buttons. But for me, this mouse kind of forces me into a more forward-facing claw grip like this, instead of a more relaxed fingertip grip, which I'd much more prefer. So that's one little nitpick I found to this mouse. I really like the surface here. Now it shows a little bit of the sweatiness, unfortunately. You can see in the light there, but it's not as bad as my Corsair M60 and it's very comfortable. I love the chiseled design here, which they've added to the new 2014 model. I know their previous mouse used to be a little bit more rounded and I like that. You have your scroll wheel at the top, which does have tilt left or right, and of course you can program up or down as well, any of those. I like the left tilt key, but if you're doing right tilt, it's just not intuitive to me because you're pressing your finger like this. It just feels kind of weird, but I don't really use that anyway. If you're used to that sort of thing, it won't be a problem. You also can middle click on the scroll wheel. The only thing I don't like is it's a little too rubbery and light. I'd like a weighted scroll wheel, like on the Corsair M60 was a metal scroll wheel, and it was really nice that way. So comparing it to that, I don't quite like that rubbery, just meh. It's alright, I guess. Next here you have a couple buttons. You can use them to toggle through your profiles or whatever you'd like. They're a nice location actually. On the previous mouse they were up here by your first click, and that's kind of a weird location for buttons, so they moved them out to the middle here, which is kind of nice. Now I'm going to flip the mouse around and you'll see this design here. You can't see it with my hand on it, but it is really, really nice the way my fingers wrap around my ring finger here, rests perfectly, and my pinky finger can rest on this grippy texture here, and it's very, very comfortable for that. And I don't know if you know, but this is also mainly designed for palm grip users, more like this. So it's extremely comfortable for palm, maybe a forward-facing claw, and fingertip I wouldn't necessarily recommend because the buttons get in the way. But there you have it. That's kind of my thoughts about the comfortableness of the mouse, if that's a word. On the very bottom, you'll see the 4G laser sensor, which is 8200 DPI, which is more of a marketing thing than anything because I think most people are going to be using less than 4000 DPI, as it just gets a little insane at that point. You have your very slippy feet. I like them a lot. They work very well. You have a cable here and just kind of a design accent. That is a braided cable. I do find that it kind of grabs onto the edge of my desk, or rather there's a little metal paperclip that it seems to grab onto a lot, where rubber cables don't seem to have that issue. So just that extra added texture of a braided cable can get in the way sometimes, which I wasn't thinking it would be a problem, but in the end, I think I like the the rubber cable that was on the SteelSeries Rival, actually. As much as I like the look of the braided cable. So I don't know, I could go either way, I guess. Alrighty, so let's go over the software, which is called Razer Synapse 2.0. As you can see, there's a lot going on here. I have a couple profiles set here, one of everyday, I've called it Rhinofeed. Then I have one for video editing, which is, of course, called video editing. You have adding here, deleting, and you can import, export, or copy them. And the interesting thing is this all gets synced to Razer's servers, so you can sign in on another computer and everything is saved there. So nothing is saved on board with your mouse, unfortunately. You can also link a program to a particular profile, so automatically switch to that profile once you open it up, which I've done with my video editing profile. Also, you have key maps, so up to 8 separate key maps. You can change any of these keys to whatever you like. Also, thumb keys on the left side. So up to 8 times per profile, which is a lot. Also, you have your performance tab here, which goes from 100 to 8200 DPI in 100 DPI steps. And you have your acceleration here from 0 to 10. And one thing I've noticed is 0, you can set it to 0 all you'd like, but the sensor itself has acceleration. So this is just additional acceleration through the software. Also, you have your polling rate, which is 1000 Hertz. And I guess you can't really change that. I never attempted to change it, but I don't see why you'd need to change it, but I guess maybe it's here. I'm not sure exactly. Anyway, you have your lighting, so you can either turn stuff on or off, the scroll wheel, thumb grid, or logo. There's no like pulsing settings or color changing settings. It's going to stay green. So that's about it for there. You also have your surface calibration, which seems to smooth things out a little bit. I have a Corsair M200 mouse mat right now, which covers almost my entire desk. It's really, really nice actually. And the ironic thing is when I tried this with just selecting through Razer mats and I selected a Razer Kabuto, which is the one I had previously, it didn't work out as well as just clicking others and then calibrating it separately itself. So I wonder if the pre-programmed settings they had were not set up properly or something. There's been several software updates since then, so maybe it's not a problem anymore. Also, you have your macros. You can obviously add, delete, or export, import, copy, all that good stuff. You can name them. You can record delay, which obviously will save whatever human delay you have when you're typing or recording a macro. You have a default delay if you want it consistent in between each key press. And you have no delay, so it sends all the commands at exact same time. So it can be, depends what software you're using, because if you're using a game, sometimes you do need that delay. Also, you have in the add-on tab the ability to enable the in-game configurator. To open it up, you press Alt plus the grave accent key. So you open that up while you're in game, of course, and it will overlay anywhere. You can set a transparency even. And you can basically do all the same stuff. Change any of these keys to whatever macro or keyboard function that you like. And you can also record macros on the fly even while in game. So it's super handy to have, so you're not switching back and forth between the desktop. And if you just don't have quite the right DPI setting, you can also change that here too. Alrighty, so before I end my review, I want to mention the most important thing about this mouse, which is that it uses a Avago S9818 sensor. This, of course, is a laser sensor which has inbuilt acceleration, which is highly disappointing, as if this was an optical sensor, I'd probably keep this mouse. But instead, I just still can't get used to laser sensors because they're that awful. That's the biggest downside of this mouse. If you can deal with it, then great. I would still go for it and get this mouse. But if you can't, then obviously you can't and you shouldn't get this mouse. But one other little thing is Razer has decided to make a left-handed version of this mouse, which is kind of cool for all you lefties out there. So yeah, that's about it. That's my thoughts on the Razer Naga. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. As always, please rate, comment, and subscribe. And post a comment below of what mouse you'd like me to check out next, as I am going to be selling this and trying something else out. Maybe the Corsair M45, as that's an optical mouse, or maybe something else. But I would like something with a few buttons, but it's hard to come by to get an optical sensor with buttons that don't get in the way, like not overkill buttons. So I'm going to make you all jealous because I got this button. My sister gave it to me. It's got a little pin back here so I can put it on my shirt. It's pretty cool. You like it? I think it's neat. It's also very shiny and reflective.